Hello everyone, and this is an informal video today, not a let's play one, but for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I did a photo a while back of all the Sims that are on the DD thread, and in order to do that I use a mix of Pose Player and also this other item called One More Slot package. Yep, this comes from Mod the Sims site. And what it does is it just puts down this little square thing right here, you can see. The nice thing about this is it's usually used for decoration. It's not actually used for Sims. But what you can do with it is you can change the height of it and put things on top of it. So normally you could put like, let's see. Instead of putting this cotton candy sculpture on the ground, you can put it up here, so you can give the illusion of it being on top of something else without actually being on there, which in this case I use it for the Sims who are standing on top of the fountain, because normally they can't do that. The other nice thing about this is that unlike Sims, normally when you use the Alt key, you can't actually see how they're rotating until you let go of the button. If you put them on this, however, the thing will spin freely, and I can actually get a better sense of which direction they're going to be facing. The other thing about it is that it also will help me remember the placement in case I need to do future photos of the group. So I'm not really sure how much talking and stuff there's going to be in this video, but I am just going to go through and show you how I do this. So I've already gone through and picked everyone's poses, but I can go ahead and let's show you how the Pose Player works if you haven't seen it before. So this little object right here on the ground is Pose Player. You can get this also on Mod the Sims. And let's see, who do I want? I'll do it with Tina because I'm familiar with hers. So the way it works is that you can use current pose, pose my name, and my list. These I don't use that much, especially this one. This one didn't seem to work that well. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. So select pose from list, and you can get a whole bunch of poses from various sites on the internet. And once you download them and put them in your game, you'll get them added to your list like this. So you can go through all these different poses that you want to put your sim into. Like right there, and the poses don't actually have to follow physics or anything, so they can be doing handstands, they can just be floating in the air, all that. It's up to you how you want to do it. So for her, I believe, and yes, I do have a ton of poses. These are what I used to use them in my photos. I don't quite so much anymore, although I do use them for the DD photo, obviously. So hers was this one right here. And see, I think these are supposed to be the names, but I've tried testing with one and it didn't work, so now I just have them written all down. These are in alphabetical order, at least, with the exception of these ones at the beginning having numbers or symbols in front of them. This one I don't quite know. Maybe there's a space in front of it or something. And you see that she just picked the pose that I gave her. So every single sim is already in a pose. I created a really quick backsplash kind of thing instead of using the park. I can always change this up, and I'm going to show you a couple of other things I do, and as well as the lighting effects that I do on the Sims. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to place everyone. Most of these poses are the same as last time. Actually, that one is not correct. And there are a couple of people that either got swapped in or that I just added from scratch. So basically it's going to be a little bit of switching around, but for the most part, most of the poses are going to be the same as they were in the old photo. I did switch out one for Alton since somebody pointed out that it was potentially an offensive pose. I think it was Melissa. So anyway, let's see. You can see I already started putting down Sims on the ground, so I can kind of get a spatial sense of where they're all going to go. let's see, I decided to put Murphy's sim in the front as well. And this might be, well, no, I don't think that's too close to the fountain. And for those of you who don't know, if you hold the Alt button while you're moving things around, you can move them freely rather than sticking them on the grid. That is too close. So yeah, again, this video might be a little bit boring. I'm not sure how much talking I'm going to do, but I could always just speed this up later or something if it gets too dull. So I think you get the basic idea right there. Also, I'll show you how that goes right there. Also, the one more slot package will go away when I go into actual live mode, so you don't even see it anymore. I don't think they float off the ground or anything. No, it looks like they're still sitting on the ground, so you barely even notice it. And I'm probably going to get rid of those things in the back because I think they're a little bit more distracting than I wanted them to be. But for now, I think we're just going to pause this here, and when I come back, I'll have all the other sims in place, and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so now I've got everyone exactly where I want them to be, and I got the right angles and everything, and one of the first things you want to do before you start taking photos is you'll notice that the plumb bob, is that the right term? Anyway, it's obviously visible, even if you turn off the interface. And even if you go into camera mode. So in order to turn that off, if you don't already know, there is a cheat for that. And that would be hide headline, oops, if I could spell, effects off or on. And that makes it go away. So one of the other things you'll notice is the lighting is pretty blah. Part of the problem is that it's 5:23 in the evening, so I also have these lights, oops, not that category. These lights are Behoudin invisible lights. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I found this on some website when I did a search for invisible lights on Google. But what they do is they will put a light in the game, which unfortunately since it's outdoors you can't really even see the light, which is one of the reasons I put everyone indoors. But the good thing about them is that as soon as you go back into live mode, the light will disappear. Alright, so now that that's all done, you can start putting in the rest of the lighting. So it's a whole bunch of different lights in the set. I think, yeah, all of them are included in the one set. I'm going to be putting a link to these lights as well as the Mod the Sims items, the post player, and the one more slot package. And as you can see, it just lights up everyone really nicely and really evenly depending on how you do it. If you want to compare lighting, just one good way to do it is place the light and delete it. And if you like the way it looked with the light, then just undo and we'll put it back. Okay, sorry guys. The editing on this one is going to be a little bit funny because I get really self-conscious when my brother's in the room, which he was at the time when I was recording before. Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to put lights, as many as you feel comfortable with. This looks pretty excessive, but I don't know. I just like to highlight everyone's faces and stuff like that, and not make it look so dull and flat. So one of the other things is I like to build walls around the structure or the area that I'm photographing in. For one thing, the mix of the natural light with the lights that you can buy just make a pretty good picture. The other thing is you do kind of want to photograph during the daytime in the game. You'll just get way better lighting that way, and everything else in the background won't be drowned out either if you're at night. And I think that's about it. So then we just collapse the walls again. The one thing you want to do note is that you want to try to have the walls out of the way, sort of, because as you'll notice they leave this kind of outline behind. So that even if you're photographing, you don't want those shadows or whatever in front of your picture, so just give yourself enough room so that when you zoom out a bit, that you'll be able to do it without having a shadow in your way. And one of the other things is I have the camera zoomed in right now as far as you can go. You really want to do that if you want really good pictures. There are a little bit of exceptions. You can zoom out slightly and it's not so bad. The thing is, though, if you start zooming out too much, it distorts the picture, as you can see. You can see on the sides in particular that everything is pretty far out there and stretched. So just try to have it in front as close to the front as you can. And we just zoom out. And we start taking pictures. So there's really no science here. You just take pictures from multiple angles, whichever ones you think look good. And one of the things I do, you'll notice the camera actually moves pretty slow when it's in this mode. I like to just go out of that mode. It goes in a bit faster, and then turn the camera mode back on again. And that way I don't have to take forever to move the camera around. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a thing or two. And if you have any questions, obviously you can just leave them in the forums or down in the comments below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.